When a man is tired of London, he is tired of life, as Samuel Johnson, grand prescriptivist and most famous dictionary creator, once said. Course, it was easy for him, he was a wealthy fellow. And he was wrong. You can be dead and still care a great deal for London. London town, the smoke, the great wen, heart of a bygone empire, centre of industry, finance, science, and mother of parliaments. Truly there is no city quite like it. And where mortal power lies, so does that of the kindred, pulling the strings and directing the world. Yet, for over a decade, London has not seen the invisible hand of vampiric influence. And look where that's gotten us. Our starting point is the fall of London. In 2012, the Second Inquisition struck London, which, atop the depredations of the waking ancients, was too much for the ancient domain to stand. As far as anyone beyond London's boundaries knew, the city was completely lost, a black spot on the map for over a decade. Those few ragtag refugees that reached the relative safety of the Midlands and the North could tell of little, save the near total eradication of their fellows by mortal forces that seemed to know everything and could track them all down wherever they hid. Occasionally, a kindred would try to enter the bounds of Greater London to investigate the true state of affairs, but virtually all went missing or returned from the outskirts, reporting a city without any sign of the vampires who once dwelt there. In the 2020s, a more concerted effort was made by the weakened Camarilla to discern the true state of this lost jewel in its crown. At a conclave of American East Coast vampire princes, it was decided that a coterie would be formed and sent right into the very centre of London, the heart of it, to determine what had truly happened once and for all to what had been one of the great global domains. After all, London had held many secrets, many sleeping elders, many artifacts, a great deal of vampire lore and history, and it was still one of the most prosperous, populous, and influential cities in the world. It could not be left fallow. The coterie found a city much reduced. There were survivors who'd carved the inner city up into a loose collection of baronies based around the old boroughs. Here, Camarilla remnants and anarch gangs scuttled in the dark, fearful, cautious, hidden, forced into a piece of necessity to combat some handful of Sabbat and to avoid the roused giant of mortal hunters. In the city in Westminster, Baron Henry Myers held sway for the Camarilla remnant, a useless, bloated tick of a man promoted above his station without the talent, ambition, or bravery to reach for more. He had to go, and so was replaced by Rose Abawi, a toreador of much greater ambition and talent. Under Camden, anarchs controlled the borough, guarding one of their more powerful brethren, a renegade diablerist and revolutionary, and they prevented him from leaving to meet the siren call of the ancients. Again, the coterie struck, removing the anarchs from this domain and allowing the Camarilla to expand. In Islington and Hackney, a collection of madmen, artists and misfits, loosely allied with the Camarilla, lurked in and around Abney Park Cemetery, where mortal eyes would look only infrequently. In Tower Hamlets, a gang of anarchs laid claim under their punk baroness, haunting Cable Street, Whitechapel and Canary Wharf, site of one of the greatest massacres of London's fall, looting what was left of Camarilla riches. Southwark and Wandsworth were home to gangs of thin bloods, weak enough, their blood so diluted that they could almost pass for mortal, and so could avoid the ire of the Second Inquisition. To be of the thinnest blood in some ways made them more powerful, than the strongest elder in this brave new world. In Lambeth, the Brixton Massive Anarch gang has graduated to something more powerful, its weaker members winnowed out by mortal hunters. They're now more serious, exerting control at a remove through street gangs and criminals, safe behind layers of mortal followers and even confidants brought into the fold as they spread their influence and even stage raids on Camarilla ground in southern princedoms, attacks that had been blamed on the Sabbat. The Banu Hakim, the Assamites, have carved out a small domain for themselves, encompassing Kensington, Chelsea, Hammersmith and Fulham. In the low-level machinations of the baronies around them, their services as assassins for hire have been invaluable and deadly in the extreme. As London rejoins the Greater Camarilla, can their independence here be permitted? Meanwhile, in the subterranean city within a city, in the Roman and Victorian sewers, in the hidden rivers of London, and in the grand tunnels of the underground, the Nosferatu lurk, served by legions of rats, mice and pigeons, safe, seemingly untouched by the ravages of the Inquisition. A mystery, for as the old saying goes, the Nosferatu are the first to die in any Inquisition. Not here. Their leader, the King in Shadow, bans kindred from his domain and seems capable of enforcing that ban when he wishes. Outside of central London, in Greater London, lie the Barons, home to wanderers, renegade shovelheads, nomads and oddities, and things other than vampires. Nobody truly knows what is out here, and few kindreds seem to survive for long in its environs. And then there are the other strange forces at work, from the hive mind of Bedlam in all its madness to the ferryman taxi driver. There could be much more out there, dangerous, loose, unwatched and uncontrolled for a decade, waiting to strike. With Myers removed, the unification of the Camarilla baronies has already begun, but with a sudden rise in Inquisition activity and deadliness, is that unification worth it? Join us as Tabletopless returns, and returns to Vampire the Masquerade. Our group are playing that coterie sent to investigate and reunify the city. Ours is a uniquely adult streaming game, blending adult entertainment and streamed role-playing into a seamless whole, or at least as seamless as possible. Join our game as we bring hedonistic pleasure and a mature and sexy edge back to Vampire. More details at tabletopless.org.